Hello and welcome to the eFresh.com Fish and Seafood News. My name is Kim and these are this week's headlines. ISA virus devastates salmon farms. King salmon vanishing in Alaska. Hope for dwindling fish stocks. 90 million to meet EU standards. Diners choose chicken over caviar. This time 2 years ago, some 300 million Atlantic salmon were being fattened in farms off the coast of southern Chile. Now its sheltered bays contain just a tenth of that number. Many fish have died of infectious salmon anemia, or ISA virus, whereas others have been prematurely harvested for fear they would catch it too. Coho salmon and trout, which Chile also produces, are not susceptible to ISA. Even so, output of the country's fish farms this year is expected to be down by at least 40%. The industry faces a long road back to health. This blow comes after 15 years of meteoric growth that saw exports rise more than tenfold to $2.3 billion in 2007, turned Chile into the world's second biggest salmon producer after Norway, and brought prosperity to a far-flung area with few other jobs. Alaska Yukon River smokehouses should be filled this summer with oil-rich strips of king salmon, long used by Alaska natives as a high-energy food to get through the long Alaska winters. But they're mostly empty. The kings fail to show up, and not just in the Yukon. One Alaska river after another has been closed to king fishing this summer because significant numbers of fish failed to return to spawn. The Dismally weak return follows weak runs last summer and poor runs in 2007, which also resulted in emergency fishing closures. King salmon spend years in the Bering Sea before returning as adults to rivers where they were born to spawn and die. Biologists speculate that the most likely cause was a shift in Pacific Ocean currents, but food availability, changing river conditions, and predator-prey relationships could be affecting the fish. 2 years after a study warned overfishing could cause a collapse in the world's seafood stocks by 2048, an update says the tide is turning, at least in some areas, including Australia. Lead author Boris Worm of Dalhousie University in Halifax, Nova Scotia, said that our oceans are not a lost cause. He is somewhat more hopeful than 2 years ago. Ray Hilborn of the University of Washington had challenged Mr. Worm's original report, leading the 2 and 19 other researchers to launch the study that led to the new findings. The news, however, is not all good. Of 10 areas studied, significant overfishing continues in 3. Steps have been taken to curb excesses in 5 others. Regions where excess exploitation has halted are Southern Australia, Iceland, the Northeast U.S., the Newfoundland Labrador area, and the California Current along the U.S. West Coast. A $90 million fund has been set aside, including $45 million from the Agrobank, to assist the Malaysian fishery industry's production standard meet the European Union standards. The Agriculture Ministry said part of the fund was now awaiting approval from the Finance Ministry to be dispersed to the industry players to enable the quality of their products, like frozen fish, to be upgraded. The Agriculture Ministry is currently working with the Health Ministry to control the quality and marine and aquaculture products, for instance, in terms of cleanliness during the landing process and the kind of ice used to keep them. To date, 18 companies that are exporting fishery products to the EU have applied for funding, and the Agrobank is looking at the applications. Cost-conscious diners in Hong Kong are choosing chicken over caviar as the impact of the global economic downturn starts to be felt in the territory. Budget restaurant chains such as Café de Coral are packed, while top-end restaurants, including Caviar Caspiar, are seeing empty tables even during the busy dinner period. Café de Coral serves about 300,000 customers a day at its 584 restaurants in Hong Kong. Diners attracted by meal packages costing 30 to 50 Hong Kong dollars form long queues outside its shops at lunchtime. By comparison, Caviar Caspiar averages about 30 to 40 customers a day at its restaurant in the Central Business District. Restaurant manager Ricky Long says that while dinner could cost 10 to 20,000 Hong Kong dollars at his eatery, the average price for lunch varied from 3 to 400 Hong Kong dollars per person. Thank you for watching the eFresh.com Fish and Seafood News. See you next time. it.